Hey guys, it's Finnegan. I'm back. Got a little project car update for you right now. I just came home from the Roadkill Nights event on Woodward Avenue, where I actually got to street race my 55 Chevy legally down Woodward Avenue. And there's going to be an amazing Roadkill episode about that whole adventure. And the car should be back home here in a couple hours, which is good because Hot Rod Drag Week is just less than 3 weeks away. And Drag Week is primarily why I built my Chevy into a gasser. I've always wanted to run that event. This year I'm finally going to do it with my buddy Bumpsteer. And I've got a lot of prep work to do to that thing. The Firebird's in the garage right now because I finally got some of the parts that were left over from the original build back in my hands. And I'm going to put the back seat back in the car and cut the harness bar out. That way I can take my family out in this car. And what else? God, I don't even know. There's so much going on right now that I'm kind of scattered all over the place, which is why you're not seeing consistent updates on each car. But hopefully today I'll give you a little look into what's happening in my life. Alright. God, I love this car. She is not perfect, but she's really nice. And if you signed up for Motor Trend On Demand, then you probably saw the Roadkill episode where Tony Angelo and I, along with David Freiberger and Alana Schur, went and did one lap of America with this car as well as a Dodge Challenger Hellcat, and we had a thrash on our hands. We ended up having to rebuild the engine twice. We missed a couple of days of the event, but overall it was fun, and the car is back home now, and I'm gonna unrace car it just a little bit. This is actually the top hoop of a roll cage that got cut up and turned into a makeshift harness bar. And the interior of this car was really nice, but we had to take out the back end of it to fit the bar in there. So I'm going to cut this out today and put my back seat back in. So there's that. Let's give you some other updates. What's going on here in the garage. There is, if you follow me on social media like Instagram, I'm Finnegan999. This is a rack that Daniel Bumpsteer and I designed to fit in my trailer hitch. And this rack will carry my toolbox and my slicks and some other things for Drag Week. I've shot footage of this. I don't know if I'll include it in this video or the next one, but there's lots of photos on Instagram of me building this thing, if you're curious about it. Let's wander around the garage. Ooh, I've been testing new tools. This is a line of new air tools from the Get Stuff Done line from Campbell Hausfeld. And so far so good. I'm really impressed with the half-inch drive impact, and the die grinder works really well. I haven't used all of them, but I will soon, and there'll be a video about that. What else? Let's cruise around the other side of the garage. There's the C10. Let's see, where we left off with that one, I had finished building the exhaust system, and that's where I stopped. I haven't had time to play with this. It's kind of on the back burner, like I said, because of Drag Week. There are two of the dead engines from the Firebird and that chute for Roadkill. Right now, the first part of that chute, it's a two-parter, is on YouTube. You can go to the Motor Trend channel and find it, and then I think if it's not up there already, it'll be soon. Part 2 of that chute will be on Motor Trend On Demand first. And here's some of the other parts of the C10. And yeah. That's kind of all that's in the garage right now. Oh no, the turbo boat's in the garage. Hold on. Let me walk to the other side. The turbo boat, which you saw me thrash to get ready for SEMA, and I have been working on it since then. But like I said, I've totally been focused on getting ready for Drag Week, and so this thing has kind of been on the back burner while I wait for parts and some other things. So there it sits. And it looks pretty similar, even though I have been working on it. I think my new goal for this now is to get it running. I think my life slows down considerably in like November and December, so I'll jump back on this then, and then aim for a springtime debut and water test. So I've been working on the throttle. That's where the gas pedal will go. There's the pedal. And it's nice. It's CNC. I didn't make this. This came from B1 Racing. And they make a really nice pedal arrangement for this. Let's see. What else is happening? Oh, the old drag boat. That's gone. That's off to a new home, although I still have the 582 cubic inch all aluminum nitrous engine. Don't know what I'm going to do with this. I love it, which is why I still have it. I got rid of the boat, but I have the engine still. And right now it's just kind of jewelry, I guess, for the cave. So, moving on. The 55 is going to be here any minute now. And as soon as it gets here, my buddy David Newbern and I are going to work on the steering. And I'll show you that now, as well as some video about why we're working on the steering. So, stick around. I'll show you the 55. And then I may sleep because I'm tired. Thanks, guys.
Newbern was kind enough to haul my junk to Roadkill Nights in Michigan, and then he stopped by Diversified Creations to pick up all the leftover Firebird parts from the Roadkill shoot. And this is him after a really, really long drive. How much stuff is in there?
A lot.
Give me the tour.
Okay. Well, this is packed full of tools.
Yep, there's a toolbox.
The back's completely full. The front passenger was completely full with all my luggage, so I had just a little area over there to drive. There's a complete set of wheels and tires for the Firebird there. There's multiple fuel jugs, floor pans, tools, blocks, tables, 6 slicks, motors, coolers.
That's the mystery 350 that we didn't put in the Firebird. That was allegedly in there, I think, up until prom night, and the father and son took out of the car, you know, when they sold it. And there's my cooler. Looked like you got some rain, huh?
This is just dirty from the track. It didn't rain one bit. There's all the interior from the Firebird.
Smells like dead mice and mold.
All the door panels are under there.
Wow.
The trunk is what I'm worried about.
Oh, let's check that out.
I just hope nothing falls out.
Usually I just kind of grab it, pull it backwards, lift it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, this is so exciting. Can't wait to see what's in there, because I don't remember all the parts that were left. Oh my god. I forgot about that. There's the wheels that didn't make it on the car. Those are Trans Am Race Engineering Superlight TA wheels. They look like Menolites. They're badass. There's a 4-speed bell housing that I don't know why. That was never on the car. It was like an extra bonus part. Alternator, starter,
Gearbox, master cylinder.
Oh my god, I don't know where I'm gonna put all this stuff. I have no idea where I'm putting all this. But I'm glad it's home. I think we may have to make a swap meet run at some point here.
I wasn't expecting all of that.
I wasn't either, I forgot it was there.
So he dropped the pallets outside the door and left, and I'm in the parking lot.
Oh really?
So I had to, yeah.
I had delusions.
I had to play Tetris.
At the beginning of this trip, I had delusions of them putting everything on one pallet and then just throwing it in the bed of the truck. But by the time we got there, there was a lot of stuff in the bed of that truck.
It was 2 pallets. Big pallets. Really long pallets.
I'm sorry.
And the motor.
I'll go buy you lunch.
Pardon the lighting. I know it stinks, but you get the idea. There is the straight axle and front suspension of Blasphemi. And if you look closely here, you'll see that link bar running from the passenger side over to the steering box. And if you notice, it's on a pretty severe angle. And what that does is, when the suspension compresses, it steers the car one way, and the suspension droops, it steers the car another way. I.e. bump steer, which you don't want in an automobile. And we're going to fix right now in Finnegan's garage. So our goal is to raise the ball joints. See how that arm is dropped? You could conceivably unbolt these, flip them left to right, and that would raise it up. But the issue is that one's only got one attachment point for ball joint, and this one over here has two. One for the tie rod, one for the drag link. So we need new ones with two attachment points. And the ones we got from Pete and Jake's Hot Rod Parts have two attachment points. Not only that, but they're straight. They don't drop down. And I believe that by putting the straight ones on here and flipping the ball joints to the top, we will then make that bar parallel to the ground in the chassis, no longer operating at a downward angle. And that will make this car a joy to drive. Because as you'll see in the drag strip footage I'm about to show you, this thing's kind of hairy when the wheels leave the ground and come back down. Kind of does the hula. First thing we're going to do here is remove the cotter pins, remove the castle nuts, and then with a dead blow hammer we'll hit the steering arm to break the ball joints loose. Or it'll just fall right out. I had that apart a few days ago. This next one that you got to get off probably won't fall out because I didn't have it apart a few days ago. But so yeah, if it's been together a while, remove the cotter pin, remove the castle nut, hit the side of the steering arm, not the threads, not the nut, and you should be able to pop the ball joint loose from the arm.
So you pop it right here?
Yeah, you can go outside or inside, front or back. There we go. Now we do the other side. Yeah, you never want to hit the nut or hit the top of the ball joint. You're just gonna smash the threads. There we go. See that? So there's our tie rod. Now the drag link, which is connected to our steering box and our pitman arm, this may end up being too long. I'm not sure. We'll leave it together for now and try to reattach it. There's a little adjust bit at both ends still, but we may end up having to shorten this thing and rethread it. We won't know until we put the new arms on and try to bolt it back together. These Wilwood dust caps are nice. They just unthread, so you don't have to.
That's awesome.
You don't have to smash something on there like you do with the old stock stuff. But it does assemble the same way. Same deal. Cotter pin, castle nut. Take those off. Slide the bearings out. Slide the hub out. Let's put everything on italic because it's clean and we can throw it right back together. Crescent wrench to get the nut out of there. All this stuff has about 7,000 or 8,000 miles on it. I don't have the exact mileage figure because my speedo hasn't always worked for a variety of reasons. Okay, you should be able to just drop that. There you go. And these two bottom bolts that go through our caliper mount to our spindle, that's what's holding those drop down steering knuckles on there. That's what we're replacing. Okay, these bolts here, there's no nut on them. They thread directly into those cast iron knuckles. So we're not going to use an impact on these just in case there's anything wrong with the threads. We want to have a good feel for it, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Go ahead, Dave. Alright. I love working on not old cars. The parts usually come apart pretty easily on.
I'm so sick of seeing grease and spindles.
How many spindles have you greased lately, Dave?
4.
All on a trailer?
All on a trailer.
Yeah, you never want to work on a trailer. If it was a hot rod, you wouldn't even feel bad about it.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you'd have been like, whatever, I was working on my hot rod, but because you were working on a car trailer that you probably loaned out to somebody else and they probably wrecked it,
Nobody wants to do maintenance on it.
No, they just want to break it and not tell you.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about owning a trailer. I'm fine with people borrowing my stuff, and I'm even okay if they break it, as long as they tell me, so that I'm not surprised the next time I use it. Were you surprised the next time you went to use your trailer?
No.
But you expected it to be broken?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
That's how it goes when you loan stuff out.
Yeah. That's why if you're a mini trucker and you have a mini truck with a big giant hole cut into the bed floor, you can't haul furniture. Nobody asks you to borrow your mini truck. Nobody asks you to help them move. It's perfect. And that's why mini trucks are okay. Here's our old steering knuckle. You can see. Can you hold that one up next to this one? We'll kind of compare it. You can see how much lower that drops to the ball joint.
2 inches.
Yeah. And I don't think just putting the straight one on is going to be enough. I think we'll have to put the straight one on and flip the ball joint to the top of it, but let's find out. Let's put a little bit of anti-sleaze on the bolts and we'll install the new knuckle and trial fit. And as usual, we're not going to paint these components because we want to make sure they actually work and they fit, and you know, they're going to be in there for the long haul. So steering knuckles are on, tie rod is back on and flipped to the top. We have plenty of clearance to the leaf spring there, plenty of clearance to the oil pan. Okay, the spindles are straight and the steering wheel is straight. Will this attach? Too long, right?
2 inches.
Okay.
It's a good solid 2 inches too long.
Yeah, so our drag link is now too long. Oh, well wait, hold on, push it back because it's not straight. Go a little more. Oh, whoop. Back your way a little bit. Okay, the pitman arm is now straight up and down.
It's close. You're roughly probably 3/4 of an inch off.
Really? Okay, then we can thread in both ball joints and probably reconnect that drag link. Let's try that. Okay, there is about 3/4 of an inch, maybe 7/8 of an inch of adjustment here, if we can get the bar to thread onto it. Which I don't know if we can, because there's no way to grab onto it. What if you
tighten this back up and I'll use this to turn the...
Yeah, say, what if you try and spin that ball joint? Well, if that ball joint on this end could go in, that would help probably. Just grab it, see if it'll spin.
It won't. It won't move.
Oh, okay. And where's that wrench? There you go.
If we can get it to move, we'll get it loose, then we'll back it off and we'll do the opposite.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, you're threading it out though.
Okay.
There we go. I hope it's tapped far enough. Alright, let's find out how far the threads go in there. Drag our pick. That's where it stops. That's how much thread we have. It's a pretty good amount actually. Alright, there's probably enough adjustment on both ends of this to take up the 3/4 of an inch we need to shorten it. So all I'm going to do is bust the ball joint out of the other end, put some penetrating oil in this thing, get it lubed up, and reassemble it, and we should be good to go. This bar is powder coated black, and I'm trying not to trash it, but I need a way to hold it while I break the ball joint loose. And these anodized pieces of aluminum are actually for holding AN fittings while you assemble hoses, but it will also work pretty well at holding that bar without destroying it, I hope. As you can see, got it at racepartsolutions.com. If you need stuff to build a race car or a hot rod, these guys probably have it. Whether it's V-bands for plumbing a turbo system, or hoses, or metal supplies, whatever you need, check them out. Prices are very reasonable. Bar is in the jaws. Nut is broken free. Let's see if we can spin the ball joint now. Oh yeah. That moves pretty good. And then let's see how much thread we have in this side. Okay, that's where it gets stuck. So we have that much thread. Wow, what did I get out of there? What is that? Is that a rag? What came out of there? It's a piece of rag?
I think it's just
lube?
A bunch of grease with dirt on it.
Oh. Well then, let's clean it out. Alright, so let's adjust the jam nut closer to the end there and see if we can get that to go all the way in there.
Lube is your friend.
Lube is your friend. Gotta minimize that friction.
I had it going.
It's going in further than it was before, though.
Oh, yeah. We'll try that and see how close we are.
Gotta see how rusty that is. So let's put some lube there. Get that thing a little more oiled. Alright. There we go. Now let's see if we can make this shorter. It's one of the few times in life where you actually want your bar shorter. Oh yeah, you can see all the rust coming out of there. This should work better now.
It feels like it's got dirt in it.
Yeah, there's all
There's
all kinds of schmagma coming out of there.
Just lube me up.
Yeah, more?
Yeah, just spray a little bit on there. Let's see.
This is the only time in your life where it's okay for you to say that to me. Lift me up, big boy.
I'm having a hard time screwing this.
Is this your first time?
It is.
Why don't we take it apart and we'll blow some air in the hole. And clean out the hallway.
What are we really doing here?
Well, we're trying to make that shorter so it'll go back together. But what we're actually doing, I have no idea. Got this. Is there rust in there? There's got to be rust in there. Well, then I give you the Moroso engine building brush kit. Bottle brushes for oil galleries and cylinder bores. But one of these smaller ones, yeah, would probably work. Oh man, look at that. Oh shit. Twist it and it'll come back out. So at each end, you can cut the zip tie if you want. At each end there's a ring, and you can use the ring to twist it and remove it. It's pretty cool. They sell it as a kit. Like, they have ones big enough for cylinder bores, and then oil galleries, lifter bores, and as it turns out, even steering components. It is now clean and decidedly less rusty. You can still see brown mud coming out of it. Yeah, it's not parallel now, but there's no weight on the suspension, so it's not compressed, but it'll be close. And it's on top, which is what we wanted. My guess is if we had the drop arms and we flipped them upside down, it'd probably be like perfect. But this is way better than it was before. So we're now going to jack up the axle, put load back on it, because as the axle goes up, that's going to move the suspension and the steering. So in order for us to adjust the drag link and get the steering straight, we need to have load on the car. Alright, the pitman arm is straight. Your axle is lower than mine. Can you jack yours up some more? But let's put it back together, and then we can set it on the ground and do our final check, and then if we have to, we'll pop the steering wheel off and put it back on straight. I think this is going to work. It's going to be better. It's not perfectly parallel, but it's going to be better than it was.
You still have some room.
Look at that. You almost can't even see the bar anymore. That's because, although it's not perfect, it is much, much better. I cannot wait to drive this thing again.